This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. It has been almost 4 years of Donald Trump and the deceit and the lies and the half-truths and the just all-out misinformation, propaganda, hate. It just goes on and on and on. The revolving door of morons who are his aides, his assistants, his chiefs of staff, his cabinet. The corrupt cronyism that we've witnessed. It is mind-numbing. And I don't really blame people who tune out. I would admonish them not to stay in the fight. But it's tough. This week, and what we're witnessing right now with the United States Postal Service, with little Louis DeJoy, is a travesty. And Donald Trump's strategy from the very beginning was to wear down the American people to just a little nub where they didn't have it in them to keep up the fight. Hopefully that didn't work. This weekend marked kind of a new low for Donald Trump, and that says something. It's a pattern with Donald Trump to do what he did this weekend. He held a press conference at Bedminster, his golf course in New Jersey. His brother's dying in the hospital, and Donald Trump is golfing because, he's a loving Christian family man. And his chief of staff, his fourth or fifth chief of staff now? Mark Meadows, the racist birther, conspiracy theorist from North Carolina, they took to the airwaves. First, I want to play a very brief clip of Donald Trump talking about Louis DeJoy, his Postmaster General, denying that he has any understanding or knowledge of what's going on. Because the buck stops with the president.
Follow on that, Mr. President. Does Postmaster DeJoy have your backing for the actions that he's taken in the last several weeks?
Yeah, he's a fantastic man. He wants to make the post office great again. You ever hear the expression? He wants to make the post office great again. The post office is a catastrophe.
Mail sorting machines nationwide, that's one of the things.
I don't know what he's doing. I can only tell you he's a very smart man. He'll be a great Postmaster General. And he needs, obviously, if you're going to do these millions of ballots out of nowhere, he's going to obviously need funding.
Isn't that kind of what we've witnessed over the course of time with Donald Trump? Steve Bannon gets busted. I don't really know him. He didn't have much to do with the campaign. Michael Cohen, he wasn't really much to do. I don't know much about what's going on with him. Anybody who gets busted, Steve Bannon didn't have much to do with the campaign. Rick Gates, I don't know. That's Donald Trump's pattern in practice. Denying knowledge of. He can't really do it with someone he handpicked and appointed to be the next United States Postmaster General. It doesn't fly. I don't know. Well, maybe you should check into it, Donald Trump. The fact is, you do know, because he is acting at your direction to interfere in our domestic election. Well, Mark Meadows took to CNN, Jake Tapper interviewed him, and both denied that sorting equipment was being removed from post offices, and then requested that Jake Tapper fact check in real time. Get your producer to fact check this. Where's this happening? And then Jake Tapper did, and the story changed very quickly. Let's go to the first clip where he denies it and even, puts a little bit of it on Obama.
Are you saying that sorting machines have not been taken offline and removed? Are you asserting that did not happen?
I'm saying that sorting machines between now and the election will not be taken offline. Listen, I had postal undermine.
The ones that have been taken offline in the last couple of months.
No, but listen, here's what I'm saying is, when you look at it, the normal process of doing all of this, Jake, I had the postal system I had the only bipartisan bill to actually deal with the $146 billion loss that but the Postal Service has been, will see over the next 10 years. And so when you're looking at this, these postal machines and the drawdown, that was a 2006 bill that has been implemented that I don't necessarily agree with, but that's not this Postmaster General that did that. That was the previous Postmaster General under Obama.
I get that. Why were these sorting machines taken offline? Why were they taken offline? And why have
Jake,
has the Postmaster
you keep
General
saying that, so get your producer, Jake, you keep saying that. Get your producer to share where exactly those sorting machines were taken offline. Let them whisper in your ear, because what I'm telling you is you're picking up on a narrative that's not based on facts.
He said it at the beginning of the clip. I'm saying that sorting machines will not be taken offline between now and the election. He said it with his own stupid, lying mouth. He said it. We know he's lying because there are reports of this happening all over the country in an effort to make the post office more efficient. And what would make the post office more efficient than taking out automated sorting machines, forcing postal workers to sort by hand? Sounds super efficient. Mark Meadows, Louis DeJoy, Donald Trump. So if you notice the timestamp there, the timestamp ended at about 9:10 Eastern. Well, it was about 13 minutes later when Jake Tapper got back to him with the actual information and when his story changed. But in between, he said maybe the most classically MAGA moron statements that has been uttered this cycle.
Sending ballots out just based on a voter roll registration. Anytime you move, you'll change your driver's license, but you don't call up and say, hey, by the way, I'm
widespread voter fraud, though. But there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud.
There's no evidence that there's not either. That's the definition of fraud, Jake. When we look at that, what we have seen are a number of ballots.
There's no evidence that there's not either, Jake. Logic trap. He nailed him. Busted. Jake Tapper. He should just walk away and quit his job. That there's no evidence that there's not. Hey, Mark Meadows. You can't prove that there's not a person here. They're just invisible. Prove that there's not a person here with my arm around their shoulder. Jackhole. You can't prove a negative. Maybe, Mark Meadows, you should find a local community college and enroll in Philosophy 101, critical thinking, a logic class. Learn the basics of Aristotelian logic. Because you just entered into a classic logical fallacy. You can't prove a negative, ding dong. Anyway, 13 minutes from the original clip, the Jake Tapper went to the producer, got the exact, precise information that he needed relative to refuting the claim of Mark Meadows that no sorting equipment will be removed between now and the election. Watch this.
In terms of the fact check that you asked me to look into, one of my great producers did in terms of the machines, Chris Bentley, president of the National Postal Mail Handlers Union Local 297, which covers Kansas and part of Missouri, two good Trump states, told CNN that postal management has already taken out 4 machines in Kansas City, 2 machines in Springfield, Missouri, and 1 machine in Wichita, Kansas. That is earlier this year under this new Postmaster General.
No. With all due respect, and if we look at it, I can talk to Kansas, I can talk to Tucson, Arizona. You're talking to someone who knows is when we take out those processing, they're part of a processing center that comes in, and as we start to move those out, if they were not part of an already scheduled reallocation, it's not happening. It's not a new initiative by this Postmaster General. And when we look at this, it's all about efficiency, but you have a normal system of changing it out. And so with all due respect of your fact checker, I'll be glad to come in. We can spend an hour talking about this. We'll bore people to death, but I can tell you this. The post office has been losing money for over 10 years. You can go back, Google look at the fact that I've gone in with Megan Brennan and said, I want to fix it to make sure that we fix it. This president is serious about fixing it. Louis DeJoy is serious about fixing it. We'll have the money allocated. And as the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy said just the other day, if it's about processing ballots, he's willing to spend the overtime to make sure that it happens and make sure that we get ballots back as quickly as possible.
That's great.
In a very short amount of time, he went from no sorting machines will be removed between now and the election to, those sorting machines. Oh, I didn't know you were talking about those sorting machines. That's how someone behaves when they're caught in a lie. Someone who is not dedicated to the principles of a democratic government. Someone who doesn't care how they win, as long as they retain power. As long as he can remain chief of staff to the President of the United States, he doesn't care by what means. Just like he didn't care when he was campaigning, talking about Obama being from Kenya. Have you seen this one?
2012 is the time that we're going to send Mr. Obama home to Kenya or wherever it is. We're going to do it.
If you're sent to Congress, will you pursue some kind of investigation to find out whether or not this guy is really a citizen and entitled to those authorities?
Yes. I see it as, if we do our job from a grassroots standpoint, we won't have to worry about it. You know what? We'll send him back home to Kenya or wherever it is. We'll send him back home. Obama has gotten arrogant. He's using the pen to create and legislate from the executive branch, and we need to say enough and enough. And 2012 is when we're going to send him back home, wherever that may be. And as
amen.
As we look at
that's Mark Meadows. This administration is filled with trash, garbage humans, racists and liars and usurpers of justice. And we have to be on guard. And November 3rd, hopefully you'll get your ballot early. And you will send it in the day you get it, immediately. Or hold on to it and turn it in at a hard voting center. A brick and mortar actual voting center. If you're not dedicated to the proposition of standing in line for possibly hours to cast your ballot in person. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. 714-576-4054. Email me daily at dollemore.com. Like I said before, I'm very happy to be back in my familiar surrounds. And I'm glad and happy and thankful that you join me as often as you do, engaging with my content as often as you do. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.